Why do Americans get uncomfortable when someone asks too many personal questions? Why do they dislike being told how to live, who to marry, or how to raise their children? Why does advice that feels normal in many cultures feel intrusive in the United States? To many people around the world, Americans can seem distant, individualistic, or even cold. But to Americans, protecting personal privacy is not about being rude. It's about freedom, dignity, and respect. Today, we're going to explore why Americans strongly dislike interference in their private lives, where this mindset comes from, and how it shapes everyday behavior in the United States. Privacy is not a luxury, it's a right. In American culture, privacy is not seen as a preference. It is seen as a basic human right. From a very young age, Americans are taught that every individual has an invisible boundary around their life, a personal space that others should not cross without permission. This boundary includes personal beliefs, relationships, money, family decisions, health, emotions, life choices. When someone crosses that boundary, even with good intentions, it often feels like a violation, not help. That's why Americans often say things like, "That's personal. I'd rather not talk about it. It's none of your business." These phrases are not aggressive. They are defensive tools designed to protect autonomy. The root, freedom over conformity. To understand American privacy, we need to understand one core idea. Freedom comes before social harmony. In many collectivist cultures, social closeness is prioritized. People ask personal questions to show care, connection, and involvement. In American culture, the priority is reversed. Americans believe you show respect by not interfering. You show care by giving space. You show maturity by letting others decide for themselves. Being left alone is not loneliness. It's independence. That's why Americans often feel uncomfortable when others give unsolicited advice, ask deeply personal questions too early, comment on life choices, pressure them to follow social expectations. To Americans, interference feels like control. My life, my choice mentality. One phrase summarizes the American mindset perfectly. My life, my choice. This belief applies to career paths, marriage or staying single, having children or not, lifestyle choices, beliefs and values. Even close family members are expected to respect these decisions. Parents may advise, but they are not expected to decide. Friends may share opinions, but not push. Society may suggest norms, but not enforce them. When interference happens, Americans often feel judged, controlled, disrespected. And that emotional reaction is very strong. Why Americans avoid personal questions. In many cultures, asking about age, salary, marriage, children, religion, is completely normal. In the U.S., these questions can feel invasive. Why? Because Americans believe that information equals power. Personal data belongs to the individual. Sharing is a choice, not an obligation. Asking personal questions without permission feels like crossing a boundary, claiming entitlement to someone's life, reducing individuality. That's why Americans often wait for others to voluntarily share. Silence is not awkward in this context. It's respectful. The difference between care and control. This is one of the biggest cultural misunderstandings. In many cultures, advice equals care. Involvement equals love. In American culture, advice without permission equals pressure. Involvement without consent equals intrusion. Americans draw a sharp line between support and control. Concern and interference. Concern and interference. They prefer phrases like, "Let me know if you want help," "I'm here if you need anything," instead of, "You should do this. Why don't you live like that?" The key difference is choice. Privacy is linked to personal dignity. In American thinking, privacy is directly tied to self-worth. Your life is yours. Your decisions reflect who you are. Your boundaries define your identity. When someone interferes, it feels like your judgment is being questioned. Your intelligence is being doubted. Your autonomy is being ignored. That's why Americans often react strongly, even defensively, to personal interference. They are not rejecting connection. They are protecting dignity. Why Americans say, "I'd rather not talk about IT." This phrase is extremely important in American culture. It means, I am choosing not to share. I expect my boundary to be respected. Please don't push further. In the U.S., respecting this phrase is a sign of emotional maturity. Pushing past it is seen as rude, even aggressive. Silence is accepted. Distance is allowed. Privacy is honored. How this shapes American society. This privacy-first mindset influences many aspects of American life. Workplaces avoid personal questions. Schools encourage independent thinking. Neighbors respect personal space. Social interactions stay surface level until trust is built. Friendships develop slowly, but deeply. Trust is earned, not assumed. Once Americans choose to open up, the bond is strong, but the choice must be theirs. Why this doesn't mean Americans don't care. This is the biggest misconception. Americans do care. They simply show it differently. They believe respect is love, space is kindness. Freedom is compassion. Letting someone live their life without interference is, in American culture, one of the highest forms of respect. So why do Americans hate when others interfere in their private lives? Because privacy protects freedom, dignity, identity, choice. To Americans, your life is not a public discussion. It is your responsibility, your journey, and your right. And respecting the boundary is not distance. It is respect.